While to talk about how all of this is impacting Australia's huge SME industry. Conversations are still happening in the industry. It's seeing a shift in energy as business owners are now figuring out what to learn from this crisis in relation to their business fundamentals and operations. Welcome to Ausbiz, Anthony Landahl. He's from Equilibria. Anthony, welcome to the program. So what is this? Is this a bit of light that we're seeing at the end of the coronavirus crisis? What are you hearing with your ear to the ground?
Yeah, g'day Nadine. Thanks for having me this afternoon. I think essentially a lot of the work we've been doing to now and a lot of the focus to now has been on businesses staying afloat, managing cash flow, I guess getting themselves into hibernation. And what I mean by that is understanding what provisions are there for them from a finance perspective in terms of JobKeeper, trying to get bridging cash flow in place to survive essentially. But some of the conversations we're now starting to have with small business, and we all know how resilient small business is, the focus is shifting to looking to the future. I think this coronavirus situation has made a lot of businesses look at their core fundamentals, look at how they operate their business. And that's going to drive some behavioural changes that I think will not only help our businesses rebound, but also probably put them in a stronger, more sustainable place into the future commercially.
And what about the speed of various loans getting to these people who need it right now? We've had Westpac come out saying that they've been struggling under the weight of trying to approve these loan books in time. And we've seen a few other non-bank lenders part of the SME scheme. So what are you seeing yourself when it comes to being able to quickly deploy this money?
Absolutely. A massive challenge right now for small businesses is essentially getting this bridging finance, if you like, in place. And providers have been absolutely swamped in terms of their hardship teams. And I know the government, Scott Morrison and Josh Frydenberg, were talking as early as yesterday around getting these funds to these businesses more quickly. And I know the providers are shifting a lot of resources into that space. I should say as well, each of the providers have slightly different ways they're going about this. Some is through a phone call, others are through applications. But yeah, we're seeing applications take a number of weeks at times to be processed for businesses that are essentially trying to pay their staff, keep their staff on board until the JobKeeper provisions come in. It's a massive challenge, this bridging period for businesses and in fairness for the providers as well, with the amount of inquiries they're getting.
Certainly, everyone seems to be absolutely under the pump at the moment. But when it comes to other things that the government could do for SMEs, we saw that there were immediate write-downs on tax that were provided, say, between March and June this year, 150,000 of new purchases, no question asked, that could be deducted. What else do these SMEs need other than, of course, quick and fast cash that will help them get through this period?
Look, I think cash flow is the key right now. And yeah, the increase in the asset write-off has obviously assisted. The JobKeeper program's obviously assisting. The provider provisions to loans is always assisting as well. In terms of additional features, I think in essence the government's got in place the right structures and the right framework. The big challenge is trying to keep it in hibernation until we can build out of this as a market-driven, as distinct from a sort of a welfare-driven behaviours. And a big key is just this bridging period to survive until the JobKeeper payments start coming through on the 1st of May. And the big challenge there has been the speed of the providers to keep up with the demand and give those funds to the businesses that need them. I mean, we've got ASX listed companies that have essentially their doors closed a month ago, trying to survive through this period, down to small business owners of 3 or 4 staff in hospitality, trying to keep their staff going so they're eligible for some of these payments. So I think the framework's in place. Probably the speed of delivery and execution needs to reflect the urgency some of these businesses are finding themselves in.
I would like to go back, though, Anthony, to where we sort of started, because we don't want to underplay the struggles that the SMEs sector of the economy is facing right now. But how do you envision some of these businesses will change for the better on the other side of this crisis?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And we are seeing the energy shift and some of these conversations shifting in terms of businesses. This has essentially forced a lot of businesses to look at their business models, to look at their core fundamentals. How do we operate? Who's our market and how are we delivering to that market? And what I mean by that is the pace of change has meant businesses have had to change their processes. They're looking at their revenue lines. Are we dependent on one income stream? Is our revenue at risk if there's a specific downturn? Obviously, this being an extreme situation, but it's forcing a lot of these sort of things. What do our expense lines look like? Are we able to cut back expenses? Can we do things more efficiently? We're seeing a lot of businesses harnessing technology. We're seeing a lot of businesses going from face-to-face interactions to home deliveries or different ways of providing services, same services or new services to their clients. So I think as we come out of this, we're going to see a lot of businesses having been forced to review their core fundamentals, their income streams, their expense lines, the way they operate their businesses, whether it's through technology, whether it's through a physical office space, whether it's through the actual services they're offering, to essentially over time manage their risk better, as well as be a more commercially sustainable and tight-knit business.
I like that because, the strong will survive. Unfortunately, there will be casualties, but, there's a whole sort of new opportunity that presents itself on the other side. Anthony, how have you managed to cope running your own business through this time? I know we all talk about it all as if it's everyone else, but we're all sort of dealing with this ourselves. Have you seen any new opportunities open up?
Yeah, look, that's very true. I mean, I'm a small business owner. I'm managing some of the same issues and challenges that a lot of other small businesses are. Obviously, tourism, hospitality, retail have been hit the hardest, but the impact ripples through the whole economy. It ripples through every facet of small business in Australia. We're facing the same challenges in terms of essentially people that we were able to assist beforehand, their situation may have changed. So we're having to look at our revenue streams. We're having to look at our expense line. We've done this. I'm doing the same things I've been talking about. I've looked at my cash flow through this time. I've looked at this bridging time. I've looked at, do I have cash flow shortages? How do I bridge that gap? So I'm doing the same as most other small businesses in terms of managing my cash flow. But the other thing I'm also doing is I'm reviewing my business processes. Are there different ways we can deliver our services? Are we delivering them most efficiently? And I'm also seeing new opportunities starting to come up now as people understand the impact of this coronavirus to them, how it's affected them, and then they're starting to look forward, as I am as a small business owner, into what's next in terms of the opportunities that are opening up in the market that as a small business we can start working back towards, rather than I guess where we've been in the last month, which has been for our business very much helping our existing clients. So I work with a lot of small businesses and also ensuring that my own business is going to be sustainable into the future and putting into practice what I'm talking about here today.
Well, there's nothing like experience to, bring good practice to the fore. Thank you so much for joining us, sharing your insights with us, and a little bit of positivity as well.
Yeah, I think as we come out of this, we're going to be strong, small businesses resilient, and a lot of businesses are going to come out of this in good shape, ready to get cracking again into the economy. So thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you. Anthony Landahl there from Equilibria, and I'm sure